How you doing, everybody? Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. How's everybody doing? First of all, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, bang on that like button. Today, we're going to be on a little bit more of a serious note. And I've been trying to be careful to make sure that when I speak of this situation, it's in great respect of the people involved. And I have done another video on this, and I didn't release it. I just don't think it wasn't that bad. I just don't think that it was what I wanted it to look like and sound like. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop right here and tell you about a story back in 2015, and I'm gonna be reading this off of my phone, so please excuse me for not being able to memorize it. Back in 2015, there was a hunting accident, per se. A man went missing, and if he is dead, God rest his soul. And to the family members, friends, and family, I have my condolences, and I'm sorry for your loss, if that is the case. Being it's 5 years ago, it's probably looking like that is the case. Unfortunately, they have not found a trace of this man, and I've got to imagine that's got to be pretty disturbing and unsettling for the wife, the close family and friends. And I want you to all know, and everybody, I mean no disrespect to this individual, I am simply going to explain my theory based upon my knowledge as a Sasquatch researcher. Okay, let me read you the story first. On November 15th, 2015, Thomas Mezek Sr., 82, went missing while on a hunting trip with his friends and family. The group were hunting in a spot near Lily Pond in the Lake George Wild Forest of the Adirondack Mountains. Thomas was tasked with sitting stationary during the drive by his fellow hunters. 3 other older members of the group were also sitting stationary in a line formation with less than 100 yards between them. The younger members of the group went down to a nearby trail and swung around towards the line of older men, trying to drive the deer towards the stationary members. After failing to see a single deer, the group convened, but Thomas was nowhere to be found. Worth noting that the entire group, including Thomas, each had working walkie-talkies. Thomas never said a single thing on the walkie-talkie that day. In addition to the walkie-talkies, Thomas was carrying a rifle. The group yelled, fired shots, searched the area. Thomas's watcher location was only a couple hundred yards from the parking lot. And the group stayed at the truck overnight, hoping that Thomas would simply appear, honking the horn continuously and yelling into the night. A large 300-plus person search team, including dogs, divers, state police helicopters, forest rangers, and SR teams, searched a 5-mile area. National Guard even went over the area with infrared. The SR teams employed bump lines with strings tied to trees in order to create grids where people would search to make sure that they had missed nothing. The official search ended in January of 2016, but the State Department of Environmental Conservation continued searches in the area. To this day, nothing's been found. Thomas was 82. He was missing an eye, he wore hearing aids, and he had heart problems. The likely scenario is that Thomas fell ill. Where did he go? Thousands of hunters roamed the exact area during hunting season every year, and it's a popular hiking destination. If he suddenly was ill, why didn't he use his walkie-talkie or fire 3 shots into the air? If he was so ill and he couldn't do either, one would think that he couldn't get that far away. What was a bit strange is that the FBI immediately got involved. Thomas was a long retired Air Force veteran, but nobody of great importance. Why did the FBI get involved in a missing elderly hunter case with no suspected foul play and no interstate aspect? And finally, one of the fellow watchers and a longtime friend of Thomas said, now this is the part I want you to listen to. And if you're a Sasquatch researcher or somebody who has spent a lot of time in the character traits of Sasquatch, you might pick up on what I picked up on. Okay, let me add that Thomas's wife, 56 years they were married, she had this to say: the FBI told me something isn't right with this case, but they don't know what. They won't share any theories if they have them. The FBI said until they make a discovery, they're just never gonna know. I think they know. Alright, so let's just start right here. And finally, one of the fellow watchers and a longtime friend of Thomas said while he was sitting and waiting, he heard a strange noise. Never heard that noise in the woods before. Strange to the point that he remembered it, which happened before Thomas was known to be missing. He said he did tell the police, but nothing obviously could come from that strange noise. The man said he heard a loud snapping or cracking sound, and he didn't know what it was, and he couldn't relate it to anything that he had heard in the woods before. The noise came from up on the hill, not where Thomas was last seen, but only about estimated 150 yards away. Okay, so I'm going to stop reading right there for just a second. There's a little more to it, and I'll read it. As a Sasquatch researcher, I have a theory, and those 2 clues hit me like a ton of bricks. Sasquatch are known to do tree knocks. When Sasquatch move through the woods at an extraordinary speed, it's been said that you can hear a whoosh, like you take a wiffle ball bat and swing it as fast as you can, and as it cuts the air, that whooshing noise. Let me read on. Of course, the most reasonable answer is Thomas had an acute health issues, a heart attack perhaps, and he collapsed where he has not been found. Normally, I think it's reasonable people in the woods aren't found. What was the cracking noise? Is it possible that Thomas, for some reason, went up the hill and fell into a chasm that opened up? Sounds strange, but weirder things have happened. Why was the FBI involved? And why do they think something is strange about this case? For some reason, in this article on Reddit, and I'm sure you can find it, go ahead and read it for yourself, there is more spoke about the cracking sound at the top of the hill. And they speak of they heard the cracking, the big snap, and then they heard a whoosh. Okay? Here's my theory. After hundreds upon hundreds, including all the professionals in the area, go looking for this man for months on end. And so this was November 15th, and then in January, they ended the investigation. That's, I've been up in this area. I've found some of the strings, and I'm sure they did a thorough job. Of course, they had dogs, bloodhounds, specialized dogs that can sniff out steel. The gun, where'd it go? Where's the walkie-talkie? Why didn't he radio? Something happened suddenly. And so, let me give you my scenario. If in the evening throughout the night, being that Sasquatch or nocturnal, were in the area on a hunt, spread out over the area, and I'm thinking good possibility they may had a couple juveniles with them, young Sasquatch, 5-6-year-old, 8-10-year-old, maybe a 15-16-year-old, and maybe, call it bad luck, they were being taught how to hunt. So maybe the adult Sasquatch had wounded a deer, and it was in the area, and the younger Sasquatch were learning how to hunt down and finish the kill and bring the deer out. But then all of a sudden, some pickup trucks come up into the area, the men disperse on a watch line, they go down the road, walk up into another trail, basically circling around and somewhat surrounding the Sasquatch, which honestly, you know, it wasn't like the Sasquatch got caught with the pants down or anything. No pun intended, they don't have pants. But maybe in that situation, and maybe they just stayed put. Maybe they made some sounds the hunters never heard, told the little ones, get down, okay? We're going to figure out a way to get out of here. Because they maybe didn't really understand where the hunters were going. And just by bad luck, the hunters went exactly in the wrong spot for the Sasquatch. And then here you go. You got a line of watchers spread up through a mountain. You have drivers hooking around. Now the little ones are caught in between. Obviously, up on top of the hill, because Sasquatch take the high ground, you have your dominant male, your females, all out in the surrounding areas up high. What if Thomas, not thinking it was a Sasquatch, simply sat down, and while he was gazing out and looking and watching for deer or bear, saw something out there just move a little, pulled up with his scope or open sights, whatever he has. I have no idea what kind of rifle he has or had at this point. And he pulled that rifle up with the intentions to shoot. Remember, people are, qualified Sasquatch researchers abroad are really starting to lean towards Sasquatch have extrasensory perception, ESP. And so therefore, they would be thinking, man, we do not want anything bad to happen here, but this man's going to shoot my kid. And at that time, one of the Sasquatch at the top of the hill signals to the rest of the Sasquatch something needs to be done, and they're going to take action. That's where you would have heard that loud crack, and down the Sasquatch would have come at full speed. You would have heard the whoosh. And this is the part that I don't want to sound gruesome. So in respect to the family and friends, let's just say that Thomas would be taken, but his life would have ended instantly, no pain whatsoever, from behind. The Sasquatch have the intelligence enough to know, after 100 years of watching humans, game wardens, conservationists, police officers, so on and so forth, with people lost in the woods, they know the human's technique to come and find a lost hunter. and they know that they're going to come track them with the dogs and everything. So they would have left no trace. They would have taken Thomas, ended his life. They would have retrieved the walkie-talkie, the gun. They would have left nothing on the ground, and they would have picked Thomas up and carried him so that the dogs couldn't catch a scent. And they would go a long ways. They could have gone 50, 60 miles up into way up north into the Adirondacks. They would have found a cave and put Thomas in there and blocked the cave off so that nobody could have found him. They could have gone to the lake, could have gone to Lake George, could have swam down, way down deep in the lake, and they could have put him in a cavern down in there. They could have, they might have spots throughout the Adirondacks that they know very well, that there's 3,000-pound rock sitting right there on the bank, and we don't know that Sasquatch can push that rock out of the way and go into a burrow under the ground or a tunnel or whatever it be, but they do. And with 4 or 5 mature 8, 9, 10 foot 1,000-pound Sasquatches, they can move that rock quite easily, and they could have put Thomas in there and his belongings and sealed the rock up, and that would have been the end of it. The point of the matter is, this is just another reason why the discovery of Sasquatch needs to be accepted by the authorities, and they need to do their due diligence, list them as a protected species, and educate the public of what to do and what not to do. Because if Thomas was aware that what he was pulling up on might not have been big game, that it could possibly be a Sasquatch, and if he'd have read up and found out what the consequences are of that, then he may not have done that. And this is a sad situation, and it must be just horrible for the wife and the family to not know what really happened. Okay, there's old abandoned ore mines up in the Adirondacks. Not just ore. There's a lot. And this, I'm not saying that this is what happened, but if that man walked from where he was at and he fell somewhere, or he fell down in somewhere, then them dogs or their techniques, the professionals, would have at least been able to find out where he was sitting, and they would have followed where he went and at least reported that he traveled and that they lost his scent somewhere. Maybe I haven't found that. Okay, so Sasquatch Wizard, Adirondacks, and I'm up here in the Adirondack Mountains. It's just about ready to start getting dark. We're going to carry on with some research. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago I got twisted up in the woods and was stubborn, didn't pull my compass out, and I ended up walking a mile in the wrong direction. And I got twisted up into a swamp that was thicker than anything I've ever walked through in my life, and I lost a really expensive, nice knife. So I'm up here searching for that, and you know what? I'm going to be searching the Adirondacks and investigating the habits of Sasquatch, the beauty of Sasquatch, the mystery of Sasquatch. And I love being out here. And again, I hope I'm not offending anybody and bringing up some bad times. And if I find anything, there's numbers on all the articles. I will. I don't mind helping out. I'm not launching an investigation to find Thomas, but for the years to come, I'll be combing the land and up here quite frequently, as I always am. All right. Again, listen. Hit the subscribe button if you would for me. Hit the like button, and I highly suggest that you stay tuned in the next month or so. Some real good stuff is happening, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I know I am. So, God bless. Love y'all. Sasquatch Wizard signing off.